Good day, everyone. I am Adelle L. Flores, and I am here to present my research study entitled Development of Workbook on Selected Topics in Organic Chemistry for Tertiary Level. This study aimed to develop an educational workbook for organic chemistry in response to the challenges faced in science education in the Philippines. The country lags behind in educational quality, particularly in science subjects. The difficulty of teaching science and organic chemistry in particular has been observed, with students struggling to grasp concepts such as functional groups. The lack of resources, including teachers, classrooms, and quality learning materials, further limits science education. The study emphasizes the importance of locally produced teaching and learning materials to improve educational quality. The presence of varied, interesting, and well-organized instructional materials can enhance learning and capture students' attention and motivation. Lack of instructional materials and teaching resources aligned with the curriculum hinders science education, resulting in low achievement scores. To address this, the study proposes the development of an organic chemistry workbook to enhance the learning experience and facilitate effective instruction. The workbook is designed to reinforce students' understanding and application of key concepts in organic chemistry. It aims to promote active learning, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills through hands-on activities and practice exercises. The workbook is intended to serve as a companion to traditional textbooks, bridging the gap between theory and practical application. For the statement of the problem, this study aimed to develop a workbook on selected topics in organic chemistry for tertiary level. Specifically, it sought to answer the following. The first one, what organic chemistry workbook can be developed for tertiary level? The second one, what is the evaluation of the experts on the workbook in terms of its validity along content, format, presentation and organization, accuracy and up-to-datedness and information? The third one, what is the level of readability in the developed workbook on selected topics in organic chemistry? This part of the study discussed the research design, procedure in developing and evaluation of workbook, the respondents of the study, the data gathering instruments, and the statistical treatment. For the research design, the study employed the research and development cycle. Research and development design. In the present study, it's constructed a workbook in organic chemistry among college students. The following steps were followed. A. Planning and organizing the learning topics and designing. B. Developing of workbook. C. Evaluation of workbook. And letter D. Revising and finalizing of workbook. For the population of the study, the respondents of the study were the tertiary level organic chemistry teachers. They served as evaluators and validators of the developed workbook and were selected through the purposive sampling technique. The selection was based on these inclusion criteria: organic chemistry teachers, university academicians, at least 5 years teaching experience in the field of chemistry, and willing to sign the informed consent as a respondent. For the research instrument, the study utilized a validation tool adapted from Meresan 2019. This instrument was employed to determine the level of validity of the developed workbook in organic chemistry along content, format, presentation and organization, and accuracy and up-to-datedness of information. The data and information that was gathered through the adapted questionnaire were statistically treated using the mean in expressing average of the general evaluation of the validator on the workbook. On the other hand, the level of readability of the developed was measured using the Flesch-Kincaid rating is. For the result of the study, in problem 1, this study developed an educational workbook on organic chemistry using a research and development approach. The workbook followed the four-door model or instructional design model, providing spaces for exploration, practice, evaluation, and interaction. It underwent validation by experts and specialists, resulting in revisions for improved quality. The final version of the workbook adhered to approved format and presentation methods. Overall, the study employed careful planning, development, validation, and iterative revisions to create an effective workbook for learning organic chemistry. For problem number 2, the overall evaluation of the validators with a mean rating of 3.63 and a descriptive rating of high validity on the developed workbook in terms of all factors considered. This implies that validators perceive that the workbook for tertiary level could be potential learning material in teaching and learning organic chemistry, particularly on alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, alcohols, ethers, aldehydes, and ketones. And for problem 3, the developed workbook yields a score of 41.4 from the Flesch-Kincaid reading is testing. The results suggest that the text is difficult to read, which implies that developed workbook on selected topics in organic chemistry may contain longer sentences, complex vocabulary, and a higher number of syllables per word, which can make it more challenging for readers. Generally, the Flesch-Kincaid is a score of 41.4 provide valuable insights regarding the accessibility and suitability of the text for college-level readers. Based on the study, the following findings were drawn. The first one, a workbook on the selected topics in organic chemistry was developed through the R&D design followed the format of Chagaragan's 4D model. The developed workbook on selected topics in organic chemistry was validated by 5 proficient organic chemistry tertiary instructors with an overall mean rating of 3.63 and an overall descriptive rating of high validity in terms of all items, namely content, format, presentation and organization, and accuracy and up-to-datedness. The third one, the developed workbook on selected topics in organic chemistry underwent the Flesch-Kincaid reading, which yields a result of 41.4, which was interpreted as difficult to read and implied it's suitable for college-level students. And based on the findings, the following conclusions were drawn. The first one, a workbook on the selected topics in organic chemistry was developed through the R&D design followed the format of Chagaragan's 4D model. The evaluator's overall validation of the developed workbook on the selected topics in organic chemistry is high. And the last one, the developed workbook on the selected topics in organic chemistry is suitable for tertiary levels. And based on from the conclusions, the following are highly recommended. The first one, the workbook in organic chemistry for tertiary level developed in this study should be used. Instructional materials, particularly to workbook, be developed by the teachers. Additional topics in organic chemistry must be included in the workbook. And the last one, the developed workbook is recommended to pursue the application for copyright protection of the workbook developed as part of this research. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.